WNBA's Brittney Griner is in fact a man. You could possibly speculate, okay, is Brittney trans then? What's the situation here? But there aren't any top surgery scars. I don't give a fuck about women's sports, and I think that most people probably don't care about women's sports, except the women who have been training their whole life to make it on a women's sports team. Like, if this is a successful transition and Brittney is on cross-sex hormones, that means that Brittney has more testosterone, artificially induced testosterone in their system than their female counterparts who they're playing with on the team.
Right,
so it's unequal, it's unbalanced.
There is fault there.
And also, if he is a male, then it's messed up from both perspectives.
Yeah, the only way that she's totally innocent is if she's actually a girl and has always been a girl.
Y'all gotta see this. So Brittney Griner has just been banned from the WNBA after this situation with Caitlin Clark is going viral, where she made some extremely racist remarks.
Brittney Griner just got hit with the coldest benching of the season, and the Atlanta Dream might have just lit a match they can't put out. And nah, it ain't for the usual stuff like an injury or bad stats. This one, it's way messier. Word is she got sidelined because of a secret DNA scandal that's been bubbling under the surface for weeks now. And here's where it blows up. Players are starting to talk. And what they're saying? It's enough to shake the whole league to its core. This ain't just some random team decision. Insiders are claiming it's a full-blown, coordinated cover-up, the kind that kicked off the moment Griner's DNA results hit a private lab.
Brittney Griner is clearly trans. So what do you think about her gender?
And the leak came from inside the WNBA itself. You can't make this up. Now let's rewind to the exact moment Brittney found out she was being benched. It went down right before a game, y'all. She came through suited up, no injury, nothing off. She wasn't limping, wasn't favoring anything. She looked game ready. Then boom. 10 minutes before tip-off, the head coach pulls her aside for a private talk. No one knows exactly what was said, but witnesses on the scene saw everything they needed to see. First, Griner looked confused, then heated, like visibly ticked off. Moments later, she stormed off the court, and just minutes after that, bam! Word hits the press. The team released one of those vague, personal reasons statements with no mention of health or injury. But wait, it gets crazier. Not even an hour later, two bench players from the Dream hit their IG stories with identical posts that read, "Y'all still protecting this? LOL bet." Like, what? But before those stories could spread, both posts got deleted. That's when folks knew this wasn't just some locker room drama. It was way deeper. Now, here's where it starts spiraling. Remember that rumor from April? The one about Brittney allegedly failing a private DNA test ordered by her ex? Most folks brushed it off as gossip. But guess what never made the headlines? That test allegedly got leaked straight to a WNBA exec. And according to insiders, it wasn't just a baby daddy situation. Nah, it was reportedly a full-on genetic mismatch, meaning someone ain't who they said they were in that whole situation. And if that's true, then the league didn't just cover up a scandal, they protected it?
Everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe, and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are. Definitely will be speaking up against that legislation and those laws that are trying to be passed, for sure.
Hit it and benched Griner quietly, hoping it would all blow over. This ain't just about basketball anymore. This might be the beginning of something way bigger. Here's where things really start getting shady. Insiders are saying the league panicked the moment that DNA detail slipped out. Up until then, it looked like the team was ready to keep the whole thing on hush mode. But once that paper trail got out, all bets were off. 'Cause when something that sensitive starts floating around, you never know whose hands it might land in. So what flipped the switch? One of the WNBA's own medical advisors allegedly gave the lab results to Atlanta Dream's front office, but off the record. Still, someone in that office clearly wasn't about to protect the cover-up. Instead, they forwarded the DNA documents to two specific players. And nah, this wasn't just some random drop. These two had already been side-eyeing Griner for months, not out of personal beef, but because they suspected something sketchy was going on behind the scenes. And when they laid eyes on those lab papers, boom, everything made sense to them. Right after that, Griner was suddenly benched, and those shady Instagram stories popped up. That's when fans started asking the real question. Did they bench Griner just to stop the truth from going public? And here's the part most fans still don't know. The Dream's locker room hasn't been solid in a long time. Word is, ever since Brittney joined, it's been nothing but tension, especially with younger teammates. A lot of them felt forced to accept her status just because of who she is, even if they didn't agree with it. One player even told her agent, "I'm not sitting next to someone who lied about who they are, and I don't care who's protecting her." Another player, who just so happens to be on leave now, allegedly went straight to upper management, demanding full team disclosure about Griner's situation. Of course, management shut that down quick. And keep in mind, this was before the documents leaked. Now that those lab results have been quietly circulating behind the scenes, the team's silence is just making it look worse. But wait, it ain't just a Dream problem anymore. Insiders say the entire WNBA league office got involved and told the Dream to keep Griner off the court indefinitely while they figure out next steps. Only thing is, they're not owning up to it publicly. Their so-called official statement? It was posted and then taken down within minutes. Behind closed doors, league execs are scrambling to find out who leaked the report. That document was never supposed to leave the lab. So the fact it did, that means someone high up with serious access wanted this out in the open, and now the league's got a full-blown crisis on its hands. Looking back now, the red flags were everywhere. Remember when Brittney Griner randomly skipped that press tour earlier this year with no explanation? The league brushed it off as fatigue, but that was exactly when those DNA results allegedly came in.
Brittney Griner, she said at a press conference that she will be speaking out about trans athletes being allowed to play. I believe if you've been transitioning to a woman, but you still have the strength of a guy, you gotta play with the guys, man. That's how I feel about it. But Brittney Griner, we got you home. Slow down.
Then in May, Nike suddenly yanked her from a major campaign. No statement, no warning, just wiped her clean from the promo like she never existed. And let's not forget that awkward moment during a televised game when one of her teammates straight up dodged her high five on camera. At the time, folks laughed it off. But now, it's starting to look like that was shade in plain sight. Seems like certain people had already caught wind of what was going on behind closed doors and weren't keeping quiet about it anymore. This mess has been brewing for months, and still, not a single official statement from the league or the team. Like, how is that even possible when a player's entire career is hanging by a thread? Even worse, not one of Brittney's teammates has come forward to support her publicly. The silence is loud, and that's got fans asking, what exactly is the league trying to hide? Here's the twist. Legally, the WNBA can't force a player to reveal personal medical info unless it affects their eligibility to play. But if something in Griner's DNA or identity doesn't match up with the league's rules, that's not just personal anymore. It becomes a policy crisis. And while the league has been pretending to shield her, some insiders are claiming that a few execs secretly wanted those records leaked, so they could have an excuse to cut her loose without taking the fall. At this point, it's not just about rules. It's straight up personal. Sources from inside the Dream say the locker room is completely divided. One side believes the league should have protected Brittney's privacy no matter what. The other side, they feel betrayed, like they were asked to blindly accept someone who wasn't being honest from the start. One player reportedly snapped, saying, "We've been told to stand for equality, but when we asked for honesty, they told us to shut up." And in a leaked screenshot from a team group chat, multiple players were seen asking if management had been in on the secret all along. The same league that plastered no space for hate all over their campaigns is now being accused of hiding the truth from its own players. And the worst part, no one's talking. Not the league, not the Dream, not even Brittney. She's completely ghosted. No tweets, no press statements, not even a whisper from her reps. And that's weird. because Griner's never been the type to stay quiet when things get messy. People close to her say she's devastated, not over being benched, but because she never thought it would explode like this. One insider claims she tried to handle it behind the scenes, even offering to sit out a few games while they figured out a plan. But apparently that wasn't enough, and now it's all spiraling out of control. They benched Brittney without warning, and now the whole internet knows. The silence they were banking on, gone. And trust, it won't be long before the public starts demanding answers. And this ain't just hurting the dream anymore. Other teams are now scrambling to check their own internal records behind closed doors. Sponsors are in full panic mode. Word is, Nike, Gatorade, and AT&T have all paused upcoming campaigns with Brittney, even the ones that were already filmed. Some media outlets are even pulling WNBA features off the shelves until someone, anyone, steps up and tells the truth. Translation? This scandal ain't going anywhere. The more they try to ignore it, the bigger it gets. And here's where the plot twists again. Turns out, the leak didn't come from the lab. Nope. Multiple sources are now saying it came from inside the WNBA. And not from some intern either. This time, all eyes are on a former player who's now a league official. Word is, she's the whistleblower. She allegedly felt the league was sweeping things under the rug to protect reputations and play politics. She hasn't gone public yet, but insiders say she's getting ready to. And when she does, heads are gonna roll. She's allegedly got receipts, proof of how long the league knew and why they chose to bury the truth instead of deal with it. Now, public opinion is coming in fast, and it's divided deep. Some fans are riding for Brittney, saying she deserves privacy and that none of this should even affect her place in the league if her game speaks for itself. But others? They're livid. They believe the WNBA has been spinning a fake narrative, using diversity and inclusion as a shield to protect the stars they think are most profitable. And the comment sections? They're exploding. Reddit threads, X, formerly Twitter Spaces, and even Discord chats are demanding a full league audit, like every team, every player, every file. Some are already calling it the biggest cover-up in WNBA history. And honestly, they might not be wrong. Here's the thing that nobody's saying out loud. Brittney Griner was never just another athlete. She was the face of the league, a symbol, a headline, a walking PR campaign. But if what's coming out now is legit, then that symbol might have been built on a foundation nobody ever bothered to question. And no, that doesn't make her the villain, but it does make the silence around her deafening. Because the real question ain't just what did Brittney do, it's who else knew, and why did they all stay silent? Now that Brittney's been benched, the dream is cracking at the seams, and this one leaked test? It might just blow the lid off the entire WNBA. If this really was a cover-up, then baby, the fallout's just getting started. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.